Hello guys, today we are explaining the story 30 Days of Night. At the beginning of the film story, we see tears in the eyes of a sad girl. She lives in Alaska, where the incident actually took place. There is no sunshine for 30 days time. When the sun does not set for 30 consecutive days, days turned into nights. And these were terrible times for them. However, an incident that happened there was etched in her mind forever. This woman was once married, but now she is a widow. This happened on the same day that Alaska was invaded by vampires. They killed many people and caused a lot of damage. Her husband had also died during this time. She now wishes to take revenge of her husband. She'll track down every vampire and murder them. She is well aware that her own life could be at risk. However, she travels to Los Angeles to inform everyone about the existence of vampires. She calls a town hall meeting and informs everyone that, you believe everyone around you is a human, however, we don't know who is vampire and who is a human. After hearing her, everyone starts to joke that we're vampires. She claims that while you all find it amusing, vampires are still present. She also exposes the public to ultraviolet radiation. Vampires emerge as a result of their skin starting to burn as a result of the explosion. Other people are now concerned as a result of her actions. From there, they begin to flee. As she walks out the door, the police arrest her. The agent then takes her inside in the room and begins blackmailing her that if you don't quit, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. As a result, your life can be taken as well. It is preferable to quit researching and start working on it. Stella the girl becomes sad to hear and she has been released by the police, but with the vow to stop hunting vampires. When she enters her hotel room, she discovers 3 people. The 2 people were men, with one of them being a lady. They start telling her that they know she wants to do vampire hunting. We also do vampire hunting. We'll all be hunting vampires together. But the agent and the police had brainstormed her or blackmailed her, and she says humans can as well hunt vampires. I believe only vampires can. They were baffled by what has happened to Stella, who is speaking in this manner. When the female of the group steps outside, she notices some strange movement coming from the front room of their home. A man from there jumps from there. It wasn't a normal movement. When she comes to know it was a vampire, she goes inside and tells that a vampire is coming toward us. Both of them shoot the vampire when he tries to come in. When Stella discovers that it is possible to kill vampires, so she joins them, and the 4 of them go hunting together. They seek help from a man in a library. As far as Stella can tell, the man was also a vampire, because he had black eyes and a strange tooth. Stella aims her rifle at him, but his buddy explains that while he is a vampire, he knows how to control his mind. As a result, he will not hurt us. In fact, his entire family was murdered by vampires, and vampires have attacked him as well, but not quite as badly, to keep him under control, and now he wants to take revenge from vampires. As a result, he is now with us. Meanwhile, the librarian asks if they know where their energy comes from. Their queen, who lives in a factory, is the source of their power. She also keeps herself young by drinking a lot of blood, and if we kill the queen of the vampires, as a result, their energy will also be reduced. She is in charge of them all, and they must follow her orders, and if no one to command them remains, there will be peace everywhere. Now they're all plotting ways to attack the factory's queen and kill her. Stella decides not to do this after much deliberation. She claims that I don't want to risk my life, I don't want to deal with this queen, so she leaves. In the meantime, her partner, who is also a hunter, comes, and he tells her that the vampire had killed my daughter as well. We must all kill them, and none of us will surrender, and Stella agrees to join them again. On the other hand, we can see the agent who is a human. However, he sends out a message to the vampires in the area that he is a spy for them. He informs him that I had warned Stella and that she would have left the city by now. In the meantime, the queen declares, I can smell her blood. She's still here. Because he is a human, the spy becomes terrified, and he can't tell whether Stella is still here or gone since he can't detect her blood, and she changed her mind, which was unfortunate for the agent. The vampires had beaten him up a lot that you've lied to the vampires. On the other hand, we have the 4 vampire hunters as partners. They devise a strategy for gaining access to the factory, and then the day arrives for them to do so. The vampires, on the other hand, smell them and attack them. Stella and her comrades have saved their lives. Their Negro companion, however, is unable to save him, and the vampires bite them. He'll soon turn into a vampire, but Stella and her partner take him to a room. They also try to get away from the vampires. Stella and her friend check to see whether he has been bitten by vampires, and he'll be a vampire in no time. They try to reduce the impact of his bite, but it was impossible, and it appears that he will turn into a vampire soon after seeing him, and if that happens, he'll kill the 3 of them as well, and Stella demands that he be killed, or else it can be a threat to our lives. His partner did not agree because he was his friend and he didn't want to kill him. After taking a large stone, slams his head and kills him. They later sit sadly in that area as a result of this. Meanwhile, they hear a noise, and Stella's companion, He notices the same librarian has arrived after opening the gate slider. He whispers to them that due to the darkness, all the vampires have gone on the hunt, so come with me, and don't forget to bring your weapons and guns. They see a vampire and point their rifle at him after going a little more, but instead of killing him, they confine him to a room. Later, they begin to look into the whereabouts of his queen. He claims he has no idea where she is. After turning on the ultraviolet rays and tormenting him, they begin to burn his skin, and he screams and says, "Stop it, I don't know where is she, but I can tell you that an incident like this has happened before in Alaska. A similar attack strategy is being implemented, in which you'll all die, and Stella and her fellows have an idea. If we kill him, we won't know where they're going next. As a result, we'll set him free and pursue him," and they let him go. Despite the fact that he was hurt and now walks with a limp, he arrives at the site where the others were planning while on his way. As a result, they arrive at the vampire's secret location. While chasing, they come to a couple who are bound together and a girl who is still alive. Vampires arrive before Stella and her comrades can save her. They were going to kill, and it was about to become morning, and they begin to attack her, and Stella and her companions begin to fire and the roof falls, allowing sunlight to enter the room. Stella later smashes the room's walls with the help of a bomb. The sun begins to shine through, burning their skin, and then kills them all. After rescuing the girl, they bring her with them. The agent, on the other hand, is requesting the queen, that I've grown weak and ill. I know I'm going to die, so please turn me into a vampire. He becomes a vampire after drinking the queen's blood. Stella and her comrades have now begun to ask the rescued girl, "That's where the vampires kidnapped you, right?" She informs my friend and me from a yacht. They were also drinking the blood of a large number of other people. Meanwhile, the door knocks, and the librarian, a half-human and half-vampire, peeps in, and there was the agent, who had turned into a full-fledged vampire. He goes inside after shooting him. They were sitting in the car when the agent began firing at them. They also fire at the agent before arriving at the location. The girl has informed them that there are vampires on the yacht, taking people's blood after they've been killed. Stella motions for him to step aside so she can go inside. As she walks in, she notices a vampire who has been affected by the sun's rays. Blood is pouring down on him, and he becomes alive. Stella realizes that simply burning them with sunlight is insufficient. It's more necessary to behead them as well. It implies that their mission will be more difficult. Stella's female companion seems frightened in this scene. She asks if we may continue because we are unable to complete this work. Stella claims that now that we've come here, we'll not go. Also, keep an eye on the ship loaded with vampires if it sails into another city. How many lives will be ruined as a result? They see everyone from a child to an old man in the yacht dead, and vampires drank their blood after devouring them. As they continue forward, they notice a man in the cabin with his back to them. When he turns back, they point their rifles at him. They saw that his eyes were not back and that his teeth were also normal. It indicates that he was not a vampire, but rather a frighteningly naive human after being occupied by vampires. His family was killed. He is forced to agree with vampires and requests to join them. After shooting him, the vampires kill him and Stella's female companion. They took the woman who was frightening and shot her. Stella and her partner were left behind, and they were pretty depressed. They make the decision that no vampire will be left alive. Meanwhile, the agent arrives there and ties both of them. In addition, he slashes his arm and places a container on it. As a result, when it fills up with his blood, he will die. Stella, on the other hand, after freeing up one hand, releases her and then her friend. She murders the agent brutally later because she knows how to do it. They then proceed to the yacht's control room, and then he starts destroying everything so that the light goes out. As a result, the vampires are perplexed as to where they should go. In addition, the yacht can't move, but the vampire's queen arrives. Stella's final companion is also killed. Stella starts running and hides behind a blood-soaked container that was placed there. When the queen arrives, she is unable to locate Stella. Stella appears and beheads the queen. In the meantime, all other vampires also arrive and see their queen dead and take deep breaths. Now, no one will be able to command them and they are free to live their lives as they like, and they are becoming increasingly afraid of Stella, that a girl who can kill the queen can easily kill vampires. They've moved to the side now, allowing Stella to pass. Stella has now returned to her hometown of Alaska. The vampires are apprehended by the police, and the peace in the area is restored. Stella had an idea: why not spread the blood? Because the vampires had slain him. Because the vampires have killed him and he might have died being a vampire. She digs his grave and transports his remains to her room. That has gone rotten and begins to pour blood in his mouth after a cut on her arm. She also faints with a large amount of blood flow. She sees her husband in front of her when she wakes up. She smiles and embraces him. Later, we see from back scene in which he is transformed into a vampire. He was a vampire before his death, and now he requires blood. He bites his wife Stella, turning her into a vampire. Here is where the film ends.